Here we go. Hello, welcome to Image Builder Office Hours meeting. It is Monday, April 8th, 8:30 a.m. Oh, sorry, that is time zone relative. It is Monday, April 8th. And we do this meeting every 2 weeks. And we are a project under SIG cluster Lifecycle, the umbrella of Kubernetes. And therefore, we abide by their rules of conduct, which we didn't actually link to here, but I'm sure everybody is well aware. Just means please don't interrupt each other and please make this a welcoming environment. I don't think we have any issues there, but just to get the boilerplate out of the way. Yeah, I think we're ready to go. Take it away, Marcus.
Cool. So I can't remember if we mentioned this in one of our previous syncs or if it was just on Slack and issues. So I'll give it a backstory. We've had some issues with Ubuntu URLs in the past where when referencing the latest version, as soon as a new version was published, that URL became invalid and resulted in Image Builder not being able to find the image and failing, which obviously we don't want. We want to make sure that Image Builder, with the same version of Image Builder, is always able to build the image without any changes. I did originally try to speak with people from Ubuntu while I was at KubeCon, and that didn't go well. None of the actual technical people were there. It was all their field sales team, so that wasn't very useful. But I did. I was told how best to contact them, which is through their discourse forum or whatever it's called. While I was writing out that message, I discovered that there is actually a URL that we can use. So while I was getting together all of the data to show them in the issue, I realized that if we use a URL that has the full 3.semver, the patch level of semver in the URL, rather than just like 2204, if we do 2204.3, for example, as you can see there, that is a static, well, not static. That is a URL that remains valid even when there's a new version released. When there is a new version released, so for example, when 2204.3 is released, that URL, that releases.ubuntu, would actually return a redirect to old releases.ubuntu pointing at that ISO. I checked with Image Builder, with Packer, and it does correctly follow that redirect. So there's nothing extra we need to do there. So I've got a PR open at the moment to change them all to use this correct format. There is also, what we need to watch out for is it is possible to have releases.ubuntu.com/22.04/ the rest of it. Those ones will break. So we need to make sure that that first segment of the path has the full semver in it. There is a caveat though. This seems to only be the case with the current stable LTS releases. For the currently beta 2304, this doesn't work. There is only a /23.04/ endpoint. There is no specific semver version. So we can't actually do that yet until they release another version, another stable version of it. But seeing as it is beta, I'm not that concerned with that at this point in time. So yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Do you mean 2404? Or
no, 2304. So we have an image that we reference at the moment using 2304.
Oh,
we have
that's not been released officially. That's still
beta, yeah.
Okay, but okay, that's confusing because that's from last year, right? 2304 is April last year.
Well, the odd numbers are the beta releases, right?
Is that how it's done
I think that's how Ubuntu do it.
I thought every 2 years. Sorry, interrupting here without
Yeah,
hand
go ahead.
raising. I thought every 2 years it was the LTSs, and that's where your O4s came from, and the .10s were short terms.
So yes.
No,
so
sorry. Let me rephrase that. The .04s were the LTSs.
and the .10s
Yeah,
were
yeah,
not
yeah.
the LTSs.
I
But
thought 23 was out
the
though.
first numbers, I think, so the 20, the 22, and the 24, I think, are the stables. And then I
Yeah.
think 21, 23, I think, are betas. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that's the impression that I get.
Yeah,
You've got me wondering now.
Yeah,
that's
it's a
right.
very overly
Yeah.
convoluted way of doing it, in my opinion. But
No, I was probably confused with 2404, which is a new
Yeah.
LTS that's supposed to come out in a couple weeks. And I actually have a PR to start consuming that for Azure. It doesn't look like there's any big deal. So I think I'm just confused with that one. But
Yeah,
but
I know that one is delayed. Yeah, because
has
the
it been
X.
delayed?
Yeah, because the XZ vulnerability, they're rebuilding every image
Oh boy,
just to
yeah.
make sure.
I had a mirror of XC just as an aside, and for a while I was the only one on GitHub with a mirror, and so it's got a lot of stars and a lot of people. And I just kept robotically updating it until I found this, and I just deleted the repo last week because that was scary. Um, yeah, well,
yeah, so
but
I put a
regardless,
link. Sorry.
I think your point is correct, which is only the LTS releases probably the stable LTS releases work with this scheme, and then we shouldn't
Yeah.
expect anything else to. But that's probably fine because that's all we really want to support, or we do support an image builder, right?
Yeah, except for the single 2304 that we have that I've linked to in the notes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I've just done a bit of Googling on the side. You are absolutely right. Yeah. It's
Was I
2310
correct?
came. Yeah, 2310 was released, and that's fine. But yeah, it doesn't seem like a 2304 is a release. I wonder if it's a beta 424 or something. That's how they do it. Interesting.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I
The
went
more you
down.
know.
I went down such a rabbit hole going into all these URLs. I now no longer want to see Ubuntu anymore.
Yeah.
So but the downside of this, I guess, is that you have to encode the patch release into the URL, and so at some point we have to update the patch release if we really want to
Yes.
stay current, right? But at least it'll
Yes.
always work.
But I think we had to do that anyway because the file name of the ISO had the patch in, I believe, if I remember correctly. I think that was the problem. The file name no longer resolved at the latest release because the patch didn't exist anymore in that folder structure. But yeah, it just means that when we're reviewing PRs and things like that, we just could do with keeping an eye out for this these paths.
Yep.
One thing I will say, when I was doing this, the little script that was added to update all of the checksums for the ISOs, fantastic. It worked so well.
That's
I was
great.
very happy with that.
That's great. I love hunting and copying and pasting and hoping I got the whole SHA right.
Yeah.
You could only make a mistake doing it the other way.
Yes. So as I said, I've got a PR open for that, but it's currently blocked because of the next issue, the next point on the agenda.
Okay. You want to
So
jump over to
we
that?
seem to be having a problem. Yes, we seem to be having a problem with our Photon 4 builds. On several PRs now, they are failing with issues related to packages. I saw it on your one as well, Matt. I don't think I mentioned it. If you go to my latest comment, I think it's a couple up. That's basically the error that it's getting. So on the Photon 4, there's some packages that is not correctly signed or doesn't have whatever it is. Completely unrelated to the PRs. So we need to figure out why this has suddenly changed and if we can fix it on our end. Otherwise, it's going to block all PRs until it's sorted or removed. Photon 3 and Photon 5 are still working fine. It's just Photon 4. So
Do we have a separate issue for that, or should
no,
we?
not yet. No, because I only just mentioned this in the agenda. I was hoping somebody else might have looked into it by the time we spoke about it here, and somebody would be like, "Yo, yeah, I know exactly what that is," but it doesn't seem like it. So I'll get an issue created from it, and I'll pop in our Slack as well to see if anybody else might know. Because I'll be honest, I don't know anything about Photon OS. I don't know if any of you do either, but we may have to reach out to whoever it was that contributed those in the past.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. I know a little more about it because I've worked with Mariner, Azure Linux a fair amount, and it's actually based on Photon, but
Oh, is it? Okay.
apparently, but it doesn't mean I
It's
really
like
understand.
CentOS based, right? It's
Something like
I
that.
believe.
It uses TDNF as the package
Oh yeah,
manager,
yeah.
and I don't know. I guess the disk layout and other stuff is similar to Photon.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Okay. I'll get an issue created for that then, and I'll have a look.
Okay. Thanks. All right. Unless there's any questions. Should we do a new release? Usually the answer is yes.
Yeah, I think so. There's
Yep.
a handful of changes since the last one. Though I think we're going to have to sort the Photon issue first, otherwise it's going to block the PR.
Right.
So we either need to remove it for the time being or fix it if we
Yep.
can.
Oops, sorry. Just gonna make a note. Yes, but need to fix Photon for issue first. Okay. Anything else
And
there?
if we do manage to fix that, I would like to get the changes to the Ubuntu URLs in as well before we do the release, because that will then also bump all those to the latest patch version.
Sounds good.
Or at least the 2204 ones anyway. I didn't touch the 2004 ones because they're still using an old an old user data format that's not compatible with the other ISOs or something. Got a bit complicated. I wasn't entirely sure what it was. There's a thread on Slack about it. So I focused just on the 2204s for the time being with that. The other ones are pretty stable anyway.
Cool. I would love to help out with this, but I'm actually taking this week off. Actually, I'm not working today, but I came here because I like you guys so much.
Yeah.
No, because open source kind of doesn't run on Microsoft's schedule. So, but I'm actually probably not going to be around most of the week. So,
Okay.
If you do need a review, I'm going to be here, so you can certainly just PM me on a Slack. But otherwise, I'm afraid I won't be helping much.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be fine.
All right.
I'll be the same next week as well. I'm going to be in Vienna with work next week, so
Oh, great.
Be out.
I actually am on holiday or vacation, however you want to word it, from next week as well. So we'll be here for the next
okay.
meeting.
I will be here next week to hold down the fort.
Okay, cool. Okay. I will be about to help as much as possible. We did just go live with my company today, though, so I might be a little less available than usual.
Yeah,
It's why I've been a little bit quiet, because it's been a bit crunchy for the past week or so. So yeah. Self-inflicted crunch, I'll add, but crunch all the same. You know what it's like.
Yeah. Well, at least if it's your stuff, you're more motivated to crunch.
That's it.
Cool.
I see. I'm going to mess up your name terribly, but Yongsheng, you joined us. Did you want to say anything? We just plowed through our little agenda.
Oh yeah. So I just wonder. So any update about the disk encryption?
Disk encryption?
Right.
I don't think we've made any progress on that.
No.
Sorry.
No, afraid not. I've not had a chance to play with anything on my side with that. I mean, in theory, you should just be able to modify the words precede. That's the one to support that. But yeah, I can't say that I've tried it myself yet. That's all.
Yeah, but, okay. So just wonder, so if that's a feasible way to do that, it will be perfect. Right now, I'm using the post processing. So basically, I only encrypt the data disk. So I don't know how to do it for boot disk.
Which provider is this on? Remind me. Was this?
QEMU, isn't it? You're using QEMU raw? No, raw. Sorry, not QEMU.
What I asking?
The provider for the image builder. It's the raw one you're using, isn't it? If I remember rightly. You're building raw images, aren't you?
Yeah, raw
Yeah,
image.
yeah.
Raw images. Okay.
I'm pretty sure you should just be able to modify the precede for the boot disk. I'm not a precede expert, so I can't sit here and tell you how to modify that. But there will be plenty of documentation around that will be able to guide you on that. Or if you can, I know Debian has a way of pulling the precede out either during the installation or just afterwards. It's not the same as the way CentOS used to do it, where they just dump the Anaconda Kickstart file in the root, which was always nice because it was good for learning resources. But yeah, I again, off the top of my head, I wouldn't be able to say on the call right now. It's something I have to look into. But you should be able to do it by the precede though.
I filed a ticket about that, and when I
Mhm.
tried to modify the proceed file, and the build stuck, waiting for the SSH.
Yes.
Yeah.
Usually when it's waiting for SSH, it's because the precedes either failed or I had it a couple of times when I was building QEMU images to use for KubeVirt. When I was doing that, I found that it just rebooted into the ISO again. It didn't actually reboot into the disk, but I'm pretty sure I put a fix in for that actually to prevent that happening. I'll have to double check, but I'm sure I put a fix in for that one.
Okay. But and that's interesting. Oh yeah. We talked about this before already. So yeah, you help me find the issue.
I might have done. I forget what I do on these days.
It's all a blur.
If I'm helping though, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, sorry we don't have any particular insights on this, but at least we're tracking it on this issue here, I guess.
Yeah, if I can pick it up at some point, I will do. There's a couple of other things I do actually want to pick up in the issues list that I raised one myself actually to add a feature. It's just finding time at the moment. It's been a pretty busy couple of weeks for me, so I've had less time than I would like.
I do wonder if this is something maybe more upstream Packer that might be causing it. Is it Packer or is it Ansible at this point? Packer, isn't it?
Should yes, because it fires off the commands, doesn't it? The pre-install commands to just launch the installation essentially and attach the precede. But then I would say that's probably not the Packer problem in itself. I'd say it's the precede problem based on because it would be part of that process that actually does the formatting of the disks and the encryption. I would suspect anyway, just as a kind of educated guess, without digging into it. Obviously, I can't say for sure. But that's a good point, actually. I wonder if Packer itself does support any flags to do that. Might be worth looking into that. Well, the Packer provider, sorry, not Packer itself.
Yeah.
Another thing is in our local build, I include some script I built for the disk encryption for the post-processing step. So just wonder if you if it's welcome to open source it.
Yeah, I mean, if it works and it's repeatable for everyone else, then I've got no issues with it being reviewed as something we could put in.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
But we should have a look to see if it's something that could be done by pre-seed, I'd say, as well. Because if it is something we could do, then there's probably something. I mean, it's not really an. I don't think it's anything you'd be able to do like as a flag as such, because I think it'd just require a different pre-seed file being put there as something with encryption enabled. But yeah, like I say, if I can, I'll try and pick it up this week and just at least have a look into it, see what I can do. But I can't make any promises, I'm afraid, because I was just saying the company's just gone live, so it's all hands on deck at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
All right. We have any other questions, comments, or anything? It's the end of the agenda.
Nothing from myself.
Seems like no. All right. Well, let's call it good then. See everybody here in a couple more weeks or on Slack.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your time off, Matt, as well.
Thank you very much. See you soon.
Have a good day, everyone. Take care.
Hey.
Bye.